Cynthia Martinez. I love Florida. This is my favorite state. I come here a lot. I should move. Well, I do voices for Slayers. I did Lena Inverse, which was my very first role ever. And then I do Puni Puni Poemi. I'm just trying to think of the top of my head. The one that's on crack, that's me. And I just actually got someone to bring a Poemi DVD to the sign-in table, and I told the story. Matt Greenfield came out and he was like, I have the perfect role for you. As soon as I saw her, I thought of you. Her name is Poemi. And I thought, oh, I'm gonna go Google her up. That's so cool that Matt thought of me. And then I Google it, and the first thing I see is, you have to be on crack to watch this show. So here I am. I also voice, good Hermes. I was thinking that was like Kino's Journey. What was my name? I voice Hermes for Kino's Journey, Sora with Kaleidostar, and his sister Princess. Oh, Kaleidostar! Voices of a Distant Star, Ugly Yet Beautiful. Good Lord, can you guys have questions? Because I don't remember anymore. Yeah, but what was my name? Goldie Fawn? That was my alias. Look, he's pulling it out. Do you guys have any questions? Or shall I just talk? Because I can do that too, very well. Yes, ma'am.
What was it like working with the cast of Slayers and playing Lena Inverse?
You know, that's a good question. Because when I actually got the part for Lena Inverse the first time, which was, I believe, in '96 or something, I didn't know Lena at all. And so I get this role, and I was really excited because it was my first voiceover role, and I don't have an acting background, so I was the one that kind of walked in, did the audition, and they were like, yeah, that sounds good. So it was interesting because I didn't have the background, and then I came home after I finished it and I Googled it up, and everybody was like, she sucks, we hate her, don't bring her back. And I was like, I will never do this again. And then I did. But it was really exciting, especially doing Slayers Premium, which is actually my favorite one. If you haven't, watch the commentary because that's my favorite commentary. Recording with Crispin was great. Meeting Crispin was great. So yeah, I mean, I want them to do the new ones that everyone's talking about, but we don't know if it's true. So I'm hoping that those do get released, and hopefully ADV or Funimation will get them. Yes, sir.
What was it like doing Mint on Bastard?
That was cool because she's a tomboy. I like doing the tomboy characters. Even though
Sora was a little nice, she was the nice one, but I like doing the, and Mint was different because it was Korean. It was a Korean animation, so it was a little bit different. But I liked it too because she yells a lot at people. And she likes to, you know, she's like really nice, and then she's like, get out of here! So I really like that. It releases your stress to be able to do that. So I really liked her a lot, and actually, I have a funny story about bad stuff syndrome. You guys know my friend Lucy Christian, who's just awesome, and she's one of my very best friends. I'd never met her, and who's watched Poemi? Who has seen Poemi? Okay, well, you know, I had that one lesbian scene with her, but I didn't realize what was going on. Lucy Christian was actually Futaba in Puni Puni Poemi, and I had never met her. And so I was recording Bad Stuff Syndrome, and somebody said, Lucy Christian is out in the hall, and I was like, oh, that's my lesbian lover, because things like that just come out of my mouth. I don't know why. And so the producer's like, bring her in here. And I was like, oh no, wait, I don't even know her. And then we actually got to speak later, and she's a really great person, and so now we're good friends. But no, Bad Stuff was nice. Bad Stuff was nice. Like I said, I like the tomboy characters, so Bad Stuff, Slayers was cool. You know, she's mean. So, any other questions? Good question. The question was, is it a profession I've always wanted to go into, or is it something I stumbled into? I stumbled into it. I actually wanted to be a singer. And obviously that didn't work for me because God gave me this voice. Which sounds a lot like a cartoon character. So, I decided to go in and I realized that Matt was like, no, don't even change your voice. It's okay, just talk. Which is I never went into puberty because like I'm 32 now and I still sound like this, so it's okay. But yeah, I did. I just stumbled into it. Like I said, I had no acting experience. You know, when you're acting, you're lying. So I'm a really good liar, I guess. But you know, it's just kind of like Neil said, you're using your imagination. So and you never grow up because we're pretending all the time. Then I think it's great. You know. I think anybody
can do it. You just have to be able to do that, you know, just to put yourself out there and not be afraid of, well, what's everybody going to say? Because everybody's going to say you suck. Or is that just me? And, you know, and that's fine because you just, at the end of the day, you have to just enjoy it. But if you just go in there and do it, they're going to tell you you suck a couple of times. And what Caitlin was saying, I've had producers say, can you do that with a little less suck? I know how that goes now. That's the nice way of saying it. So yeah, I fell into it, and I mean, it's been great, and I don't do anything. I hear everybody say, do this to prepare, you know, when you're going in, and do this to prepare, and I've tried it. Like, I know a couple of actors will say, oh, I listen to this type of music for this type of show, and I don't know how that works. I just kind of go in and say, what am I doing? And then they give it to me and I just try to do it the best that I can. So, you had a question right there. For the voice of Hermes, how did I develop that voice? I actually went in and I auditioned for a different part. I was going to be the suicidal girl that was going to jump off the bridge, and they cast someone else for Hermes. And honestly, I went in and Kyle Jones, who's the producer of that show, basically said, just start talking and let's figure something out. I don't have very many voices, let me tell you. God gave me this voice and that's it. And so we just kind of started talking and I was like, what would a motorcycle sound like if it were to talk? And so eventually it just kind of came out to, okay, Kino, why don't we go this way? Which really kind of sounds like Marge Simpson with a head cold, maybe. I don't know. But he liked it, so I was like, okay, that sounds good. You just kind of cross your fingers and go, is that good, is that good, is that good, is that good? Obviously, as y'all can tell, I have no background in this, so I just kind of, whatever's good, you know, whatever's good. That was a good question, thanks. Yes, ma'am.
How do you like playing in Air?
You know, Air was interesting because it was a different character. She was more subdued and just very princessy. So that was weird for me because I'm not at all. I'm really just kind of really childish and immature. Great, I can't believe I said that out loud. You know, it was an interesting show. I wish I had been a little more involved in it because I think it was a great show. Unfortunately, I just kind of got the back part of the story of it, you know, and so I didn't get to be as involved as I would have liked to. Although I have to say, like the end where she finds her mother and she can't touch her because if she touches her, she dies. That was quite emotional for me. You know, I'm a mother actually, which is probably why I shouldn't say I'm childish. But I have kids, and so with her trying to touch her mom, I was in tears. But it was a good show. It's definitely a good show. Questions?